Focusing your image correctly is arguably the most important technical aspect of taking pictures. That's because even the smallest focus error can ruin an image beyond belief. Digital SLRs offer two different ways to focus: manual and automatic, and the choice isn't an easy one. Manual focus works well in a few situations. When you want to focus on a particular object and the autofocus doesn't readily lock on, focus manually. If you're shooting action pictures and autofocus is focusing on the wrong subject, try manual. Or if you're focusing through glass and the autofocus system is fixated on the glass instead of the subject behind it, manual focus should do the trick. The biggest problem with manual focus is that it can really slow things down. Sure, it works well when you're doing close-up photography, where your subject sits there patiently while you fiddle with the camera, but when photographing sports or shooting in a rush, stick with autofocus. There are three common focus modes in autofocus. The first is continuous autofocus. After you press the shutter release halfway, the camera sets the focus but continues to look for movement within the frame. If it detects motion, it'll refocus on the new position, which is helpful when you're photographing sports or other action. Single autofocus is best for subject matter that isn't likely to move. When you press the shutter release halfway, it sets the focus and remains at this setting until you take the photo or release the button. Finally, automatic autofocus is helpful when you aren't sure whether your subject will stay still while you're taking the photo. With automatic autofocus, you press the shutter release halfway to set the focus, but if the subject starts to move, the camera switches to continuous autofocus and refocuses.